Know about everyday objects. Hole next to your iPhone camera. In case you don't know which hole I'm referring to, it's the one placed between the camera lens and flash. Many people have had multiple theories as to what it is. One theory is that it's a reset button, but they're all wrong. If you love the sound quality you get from your cool phone, you can thank that tiny little addition because it's a microphone. But this microphone is not there accidentally. It has a very specific function. It helps to receive the audio more accurately from another angle while blocking out unnecessary noise. Bumps on car tires. These bumps are called tire wear indicators. It's important that the tires on your vehicle have adequate depth so they can maintain grip on the road in a variety of conditions. If your tires are worn down to the tire wear indicators, it can take you much longer to come to a stop on slick roads. You may be at a higher risk of hydroplaning too, which can lead to an accident. It makes it easy for you to know if your tires need to be replaced just by looking at these little bumps. Ask age. Some of you might know this already, although it turns out many don't, but the arrow is there to let drivers know which side of the car their fuel cap is on. Not only is this incredibly useful when pulling into petrol stations, it's a neat little reminder to those stopping for a top-up during the commuting rush, because we all know we can do silly things or be forgetful when in full-on stress mode. There's a small hole in the end of every tape measure. That hole is there to grab onto the head of a nail or screw. This way, if you're by yourself and need to measure a set point on a flat surface that would normally require someone holding the tape, you can sink a screw or nail, hook the end of the tape measure into this hole, and securely and accurately measure from there. At the same time, the serrated bottom edge of tape measures serves another important purpose. If you're using the measure and don't have a marking tool at hand, you can press this edge into your workpiece, scratch it back and forth, and make a mark. I'm down into food packaging these days, and along with all of the helpful stuff like nutritional data and ingredients, there's also the mysterious multicolored row of circles or squares. The internet is wondering what these little circles on the packaging mean. Some even speculate that it's a form of governmental spying. Actually, these circles are called printer's color blocks or process control patches. The printer checks these circles or squares to determine if a package matches with the necessary color scheme for the item. Diagonal lines on a utility knife. If you take a close look at the blade on your utility knife, you'll notice there are small diagonal score lines. They're not just there to look pretty. They enable you to break off the end of the blade so you can have a fresh, sharp knife whenever you need. Carefully remove the black cap. Slide the blade out of the rear end and use the cap to snap off the blunt blade before reconstructing it for the item. Hole in the bottom of a padlock. You may have never noticed, but there's a small hole next to the keyhole on the bottom of most padlocks, and the reason is twofold. First, it lets water drain out if you're using it outdoors, preventing it from rusting or freezing up in the rain or snow. Secondly, the hole can also be used to oil the lock to keep it functioning. What seems to be random decorative holes actually have a very specific purpose for being there. Aside from allowing your feet to breathe when you're not wearing socks, the holes are also meant to be used for bar lacing. This allows your shoes to be tighter around your feet, so now you can share this trick with all your friends. But that saucy spoon? Well, pots have built-in spoon holders. Put the back of the spoon into the hole at the end of the handle, and the front part will dangle over the pot. Now you keep the sauce on your spoon from dripping and splattering all over the plate. Wine bottle. Some say a flat-bottomed wine is for drinking and a hollow-bottom wine is for cooking, but that's not the case. The hollow-bottom bottles are of the most use for sparkling wine and champagne because it helps the glass stand up to the pressure of the carbonation. For wines that aren't carbonated, the hollow bottom makes the bottle look a bit bigger and more expensive.
On an iPhone. You might think that every iPhone lover knows his smartphone backward and forward and can easily use built-in apps or download new ones from the store. However, there are still a couple of details that no one knows what are for. For example, this little dot on the back of the phone, right between the flash and the camera. It turns out that's a noise-cancelling microphone. This little microphone is put as far as possible from our mouth in order to not hear our voice, but background noises. As a result, the iPhone perceives the frequency of those unwanted sounds and cuts them out, leaving just your beautiful crystal clear voice. These pair of holes on your Converse trainers. They have not one, not even two, but three functions. The first and most obvious one is ventilation. When enclosed in dense material, your feet can't breathe. Holes allow air to get inside the shoe, so your foot wouldn't sweat too much. Also, it protects you from some unpleasant diseases like fungus. Secondly, you can put the shoelaces through these extra holes, and your shoes will fit you more tightly. We recommend you to try this unusual lacing if you have a narrow foot, or if you simply love feeling control on your feet while walking. And the third function is the aesthetic one. You have to agree, Converse wouldn't look so cool without these little pieces of style. When we hear the word glasses, a certain image pops in our head. Two lenses attached to each other and two earpieces. But it wasn't always like that. If somehow we would meet an 18th century person, for example, we would be surprised by that weird thing he's holding with his hands. What on earth is that supposed to be? Well, this story goes back in time, when an Italian called Salvino de Marte discovered some pieces of glass that could be used to improve farsightedness. He then put them into a rim made of animal bones and created what we know as eyeglasses. These early spectacles didn't come with earpieces, so everyone had to hold them in their hands, because otherwise they'd fall down and break. There were a couple of crazy ideas to fix this problem. Attach the glasses to a helmet or tie them up to the head with a special ribbon, etc. But since the 18th century, thanks to an inventor named Edward Scarlett, we have the earpieces that we're accustomed to. It was he who first thought of putting to good use the not so beautiful form of our ears, and thus he created earpieces that hold onto the ear like a fish to a hook. Nowadays, earpieces are so common that every pair of glasses, normal, 3D or sunglasses, has them, and they look just as they did when they were invented back. Nowadays, almost every product in the market has a color block on the package. It doesn't matter if it's a pack of crisps or a bottle of milk. It's so common that there's even a theory amongst conspiracy lovers that this is some kind of method for large corporations to study us. Relax, don't get paranoid. The truth is much simpler and more pleasant. These squares and circles are tags for color convergence used during polygraphic printing. Therefore, they are only for technical control of the package color and have nothing to do with its content. History says that toilet paper for hygienic needs was first used in China in the 6th century BC. Nowadays, it's made from all kinds of materials, with different embossing, patterns and textures. It can be humid or perfumed, or it can have different roughness, absorbency, etc. Some people think that patterns are used simply to make toilet paper more pretty, like if the manufacturers were thinking about us, so that we won't get bored alone in the bathroom. Well, that is not entirely true. Thanks to embossing, paper has a better cohesion with skin, and therefore your arse shines like a diamond after every use.